Hello, beloved ones. This is Dante. This video, to help you be more your bliss, is called From Fixing to Self-Empowered Integration. So this is how we move from an old paradigm of healing called fixing that says symptoms are a problem and we have to work in our healing approach, our spiritual lifestyle, to get rid of our symptoms and call ourselves better. And there's plenty of people, whether they're doctors, physicians, or holistic healers, who help us in removing our symptoms and help us enforce that fixing. The new paradigm of healing being self-empowered, self-generated, understanding that all is vibration and that symptoms are messengers from our inner teacher, telling us about how we're out of alignment with our higher self. So I'm going to try and encompass as much of this as I can in a short, digestible video. So we'll start off in different points. So symptoms are a vibrational pattern caused by beliefs. The core of these beliefs is always some form of perceived separation from divinity, God, goddess, supreme consciousness, the multiverse, infinity, however you call that. So when we look at our body as in terms of a messenger, in terms of something that receives from our mind, from our unconscious beliefs, emotions that are then translated into physical disease, we empower ourselves to know that when we make the change in our consciousness, then our body must change in following that. In actuality, all diseases or problems with our bodies manifest first as an etheric blueprint around us. That etheric blueprint takes its information from a karmic record of what is stored within our other lifetimes, as well as things from our past in this lifetime. And that becomes translated into thought forms, which becomes translated into feelings, which then translate into physical manifestations in our body. And when we come to understand and fully embrace that everything that is happening in our body is self-generated, and that when we allow ourselves to explore the deeper meanings behind the symptoms, we actually get to the root of the issue. What is the root of the issue? It is that we have chosen to believe we're separate from our source of divinity. So this also works with an understanding that what you believe will help you will. That's why the placebo effect is the most effective of medical treatments. So yes, when you get in touch with your belief systems and you have a really strong feeling that yes, this remedy, this practitioner, this modality is going to help me, of course it will. That's beyond the point of this, essentially. Our beliefs create our reality, though the highest belief, and when I say highest, I mean the belief that generates the most positive, encompassing experience, is in that we can when we move into the core issue, we actually prevent any future symptoms that are telling us the same essential disconnection we've created inside. So when we can, yes, understand that if we believe it's going to help us deeply, of course it will, yet the goal is not removing symptoms. The goal is getting to the core of our beliefs. And once we really understand the power of our beliefs and feel how they influence our body, we can more deliberately choose our beliefs so that we have better experiences. That's the next point. In order to discover one's core beliefs that generate symptoms, we must be willing to allow every feeling and investigate their causes. A great phrase is that the common cold is common because it's uncommon to express your emotions. and even years into a journey, when we reach this one issue that it's so hard to express our feelings about and allow our feelings about, our body comes back to give us another symptom to help us investigate and express that feeling. And as we get more comfortable in those moments, knowing that this is here to teach us something, and we allow our feelings to be fully felt and honored, we greatly accelerate the healing process. Next point. Doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists work from a fixing approach that removes symptoms. In doing so, they essentially take their client's power and keep them in a cycle. New symptoms come as manifestations of the vibrational pattern. So when you address the symptoms again, that core issue has not been addressed, and it may come as a different symptom. Maybe it first starts as a back problem, and then later it becomes a problem in your digestive system. Whatever it is, when you only work at a surface level approach, there will be something else to teach you that same lesson that you keep attempting to evade. So, next point. Even many healers work from the fixing model. In fact, in the past, when the energies were lower on the planet, it was necessary. Shaman gained power by taking it from others when they performed healings. This was necessary so that they had the power to perceive and direct the energy in their tribes. So even New Age healers can work on this symptom level approach. I wouldn't call it necessarily New Age. It's an attempt at being in the New Age that's not really empowering. You can remove dark clouds and repair patches of somebody's aura with many healing modalities. Yet when people aren't guided to discover that they are experiencing is self-created and is a gift for them to discover more about themselves, they often bring this exact same or a similar problem back. And in the past, this was necessary, that healers could just take these energy fields away from people and call them better, so that in doing so, shaman and even people in religious orders could keep control of the energy of the people by gaining that power from them, by holding the collective belief that they were the only ones that could make the energy move. And they would manipulate the patterns of energy, yet they wouldn't bring self-awareness to those they were working with. And that's an old paradigm approach. So the next point was many supposed New Age healers work in the Old Age model. I covered that. So you can spot fixers a mile away if you know how to look. Psychics that vampire energy from others will sometimes suggest that they were naturally gifted, and that these gifts, that those who do not have these gifts now cannot develop them. So they make themselves somehow more innately wise and connected than you are. On the contrary, top quality healers will indicate their unique and particular experience and specialties, while empowering you to focus upon your own self-healing. It's pretty clear. Fixing makes people wrong. Those who operate from this approach are very happy to tell you exactly what's wrong with you without offering you a solution, just a temporary glimpse of the freedom from your symptoms. So when somebody's operating from this approach, I even experienced it with psychics in a point when I was very low, that they saw where I was at and told me exactly what was going on with me, and I felt it exactly. This was in India. This guy could type on a little calculator how old what somebody in my family was, or when the year I was born, or some of these crazy things about me that in numeric quality. He would type the number in first, and then he would ask the question, and then he would be like, is this the number you just said? And to prove himself, prove how gifted he was, and saying that his cities were some kind of curse. So you can really feel dark energy if you tune into it. You won't feel right in your gut when somebody's operating from this fixing level energy. So actually, many healers do not even truly know they're operating from this fixing energy. And my teacher said that some of the best healers are first psychic vampires. And as he said that, I looked to my past and saw that I had a lot of these tendencies and ways before I started awakening, and even became self-aware of some of them as I developed my healing practice and came to terms with them. And I always check, safeguard if it's really coming from a self-empowering place. So the best way to be in that place of empowering others is to be very clear with them that they are infinitely power in themselves, and healing is a choice that they themselves make. From this perspective, all healers essentially do is hold space and offer a positive perspective that clients are given permission to choose. My teacher always said healing is access, and some of my favorite channel beings talk about everything as a permission slip. Healing is a permission slip to access that infinite love, that infinite power that is innate within you. And just because it's a permission slip doesn't mean it's not helpful. And I myself wouldn't be where I'm at if it weren't for many powerful, amazing people that held space for me to make these discoveries in my own right. But because they held space for me to go inside and realize it in my own right, I was able to own the process and not feel like anything was done to me. And I hope that those I work with feel the same way, that they are empowered to learn and discover from their own magical heart. So another safeguard is to realize that you are holding space for them to discover what is innate. Guide them to investigate the energetic core of the symptoms without pushing. Share the guidance that comes from a solution-oriented perspective. So by a solution-oriented perspective, um, you focus on not on the problem itself, but what you can do to move past the problem, what you can do to feel better in the midst of the problem, accepting it is what it is, and it is a gift, and it's a self-created gift that helps me to discover how to change my perspective. So, next point, in one's life, make the intention to move from fixing to thanking your symptoms for the messages they are. As positive energy floods the place where there is a contraction, it inherently it's an inherently uncomfortable process. Emotions flood to the surface rapidly to inform you about your beliefs. So when you come from this self-empowered perspective, initially many of the symptoms, the blockages, make themselves bigger because you're bringing awareness, you're bringing love and light to them, and the contraction there makes itself very apparent. And when you allow yourself to feel and really let whatever thoughts come up, you can see more clearly what it's about, and then choose from that place what might bring you to feel better. Choose to love yourself in spite of it, not in getting rid of that emotion that's coming up, and embracing it as part of yourself. And embracing that emotion is there to teach you something very powerful. So trust and allow the process. And remember, you can only do what you can do. My teacher said that a lot. The process itself is the point, and there is no end to the journey of infinity. In the space of vulnerability, you can find your innate wholeness, your essential divinity as part of your source. So that's a very powerful experience, to be in your darkest, most intense space of emotional vulnerability, and in that space to realize that even with that, you are already whole, you are already complete, and God, Goddess will never not include you for your pain and for what's going on. And that the process of emotional release is just one step of the journey. We're always evolving, we're always releasing density, and we're continually shedding. So the process of releasing never ends, in a sense. So the more you allow yourself to realize that and embrace that, you can love yourself exactly where you're at on the journey. And that process of love will always bring you into more states of integration. And so as love reaches the stuck places inside you, more of the emotion comes up and it gets bigger. When you allow it and give yourself the space to choose a love-based perspective that honors your deep connection with Source. So the biggest key in how you move from fixing into integration is just that, it's love. And when you come to embody love, and always choose love in every moment, no matter what you're feeling, no matter what you're experiencing, you will bring yourself into that place of empowering yourself through that higher energy, that higher frequency. When you're in true love with yourself, with your source, and you know your source is within you and you are a part of that source, as is everything, that love is so accessible and encompassing. So I hope you enjoyed this little introduction to, again, a very vast subject, and that you be bliss on this beautiful evening and choose love. And I will see you in a later video.